And hello, everyone. We're back with Pixel Perfect Marathon number 2. I'm your host, Happy Bear, and I'll be with you for the next couple of runs. Now, I've never seen a run of Sonic the Hedgehog 06 before, so I am so pumped to see this, and I hope that you are too. This is the latest in a string of fantastic runs that we've had today. And joining me is Reverie and the rest of Reverie's team. So Reverie, do you want to introduce yourself and the rest of your crew?
Hey, I'm Reverie. I play this game nonstop, and I'm gonna be running Sonic Story. Maddie?
Okay. Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm gonna be running Shadow Story right after Reverie finishes Sonic Story.
Hi, I'm Labrys. I'm going to be running the Silver Story segment of the portion.
And I'm Slysonic. I'll be ending it off with Last Story.
Sounds good. Reverie, if you just want to do a countdown timer, and then I will start the timer, and we'll be ready. We'll be off.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So, Sonic Story will show us a lot of the basic movement. We first have to start with Mission 1. We have to do a bit of hub world movement, but this is... You might notice that the loads are really fast here. We are going to be playing this game on emulator for convenience sake, basically. But you can tell that the loads are extremely fast. So, we're going to enter Mission 1, and we just need to do this to unlock... or to get our shoes, I guess. I forget the lore of this game, but
Yeah, you get the shoes, which you don't see used in the run until about 80% of the way through Sonic Story. You just do this sneaky little obstacle course, so you get some rings, so you can buy something from the shop that you need to access the Wave Ocean portal.
we can skip it, but we don't talk about Mission 1 skip at all.
We don't talk about Mission 1 skip.
For reference, one person has done it ever, so.
Yep, so
Mission 1 is kind of a bit of a nothing burger, but this next split is atrocious.
Yeah, what Reverie's going to be attempting is 2 different flavors of Loop Launch. And we'll let it kind of explain itself. Loop Launch. What could it be?
This is only available.
I didn't get my jump until really late. Okay, well, I'm not going to go for Cave Skip. We're just going to do the normal version.
Yep.
Yes.
So on the Xbox 360 version of the game specifically, they have homing attack beacons on these loops. So we were gonna see Rev line Sonic up in a specific spot, and once they homing attack, they get sent a million miles to the end of the stage, and yep, we get...
Yeah. So when Sonic whiffs a homing attack, normally he just speeds up until he hits whatever he locked onto. But if he misses, he just speeds until he hits anything at all, and in that case, we aimed for further in the stage.
That trick saves about 30-40 seconds, depending on how fast you set it up. Saves a lot of gameplay. Now, you get to play briefly after we hang on for dear life off of this Orca as our good buddy Tails. Tails has a little bit of tech. Normally, his height has a flight ceiling. However, if you are not holding the fly button or the A button while you are ascending, that flight ceiling will not apply. So what Rev did to get to the other side was a flight extension, where you used your upward momentum to surpass the flight ceiling while you're not actually flying. And you can go straight to the trigger.
So yeah, so here we have a max speed section. So max speed is known for being, well, really buggy. But here in the speedrun, we use the light dashes to gain speed. And if you're not holding a direction, well, when you use a light dash or anything in this game to gain speed, you will not have your speed cap, so you will go faster than holding the control stick for a moment. So you see Rev is doing that here to gain more speed and beat this section a little bit more quickly.
Yeah, that's also a phenomenon we're going to be seeing a lot in Shadow's run, particularly with holding forward, because the game only caps your speed If you're running, not if you're walking.
Ooh,
Nice jump.
very nice.
Very nice.
210.
Yeah, you can just kind of jump out of that loop. We don't really question it.
Yeah. Sometimes
Automation
you
in
can,
06.
sometimes you can't.
Automation in 06 either works really well or doesn't work at all.
Yeah, if you approach that loop from the right half, you just die.
Yeah, it's very funny. So now we're supposed to grab another upgrade, the anti-gravity slide. But the shop is really far out of the way, so we don't want to do that just yet. We're gonna clip through this wall and just go to the point where we were supposed to go with the anti-grav. We will actually be grabbing it later because it is very convenient for combat, but we're gonna be grabbing it when the shop is a little more in the way.
Yeah,
the
what
way,
you're
that's
supposed to do.
That is a frame perfect clip, by the way, into the building.
Yeah, you have to homing attack the frame you hit the ground, but you don't get enough speed.
Asshole. This
And-
boss sucks. This boss is entirely RNG. He has a bunch of patterns. Some of them let you grab onto him, some of them don't. And there's just so much jank.
There's a lot
Thankfully-
of jank, and you're gonna see more of it in Shadow Story, because as Sonic, you only need to deal 2 hits. For whatever reason, if you ram Egg Cerberus into the statues, it will deal 2 hits of damage. But in Shadow
God.
Story, in Shadow's variant of this boss, that doesn't quite exist. So you have to hit him 4 times, which adds way more jank to the run.
Yeah.
Luckily in Sonic it's pretty trivial, unless you get owned at the start like that. Like, Shadow has like 3 patterns. Cerb has like 5 patterns when you're starting out the fight. 3 of them don't let you get on his back as Shadow, while Sonic only has 1 that he has to worry about, which is the one I got at the beginning.
So coming up is Dusty Desert, the first of 2 princess levels. This takes away all of your abilities. You don't have a spin dash. You do get this neat shield that lets you walk on retextured water. I mean quicksand. It also lets you walk on real water as well. So here we're going to be doing another loop launch.
See it?
Shit. Nice.
And the fastest possible movement, if you haven't picked up on it already, is mashing the A button. It's very fun.
It's very fun. It makes the individual level not RSI inducing whatsoever. Here we're just going to do a bit of platforming, and then we're going to see our first S-rank avoidance strat. Towards the end of this level, Rev is going to get hit by a robot on purpose, because the ring in this level, in Sonic 06, the ring bonus you get, it contributes a lot to your score, and if you get an S rank, you lose 5.5 seconds from an additional gold medal animation. Sorry about sub 1.
Yeah, so close. But yeah, we're going to be avoiding an S rank wherever possible in Sonic. It actually happens, like, quite a bit in Sonic.
Yeah. So if you see people like avoiding rings, getting hit at the end of stages, whatnot, waiting timeout, like that's how it works. Oh, it's everyone's favorite boss, Casually Silver. Thankfully, if he's airborne or holding furniture, he cannot attack us. And the first thing he does every time in the fight is jump.
Oh, that
Nice.
didn't... Hello?
Oh,
He didn't jump there?
it's
Okay.
no use.
We got the funny it's no
It's-
use. Again?
it's no
Okay, we're
use.
just gonna... Unfortunate.
It truly is no use.
Silver only jumps if you're far enough away from him. The strat that Rev's doing is a bit more complicated to make him actually pick up furniture.
There we go, that's the jump I wanted. Normally
It is
this
a bit
boss is
faster.
pretty easy, but I'm going for the hard strat, so... I guess I paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah, usually you get a mid 25, 633 on the dot every time if you make him exclusively jump, but you can get faster if you make him hold some furniture in the process. There's that second gold medal we were talking about. Congrats, we have unlocked silver. Nice.
Thank God. So, coming up, we have possibly the funniest split in the run. If you've played this game casually, you know what this is. This is Mission 5, or better known as Who's the Captain? It is a very long and arduous mission where we must
Yeah,
load
do a lot of technical stuff.
and talk to the same guy twice. That's the mission.
Wow.
1.3 is actually really good.
It's actually quite nice. Yeah.
We had an IL competition for this specific IL. It was very funny. We broke many
What?
many centisecond barriers with this IL tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maddie actually has the IL record.
Yeah. The world record was actually broken. The world record before that competition was broken 6 times by the end of that week. So
Sheesh.
myself and Maddie at least did it. I don't know if Sly if you did it, but
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
we're heading to optional mandatory side quest number 2, Battle at the Warehouse. This showcases some of Sonic's combat potential.
So we did actually unlock the anti-grab ability, so you can see the slide move that Rev is doing. That is the anti-grab, and you can see it's quite powerful in combat right here, particularly.
You are invincible during its entirety, so you're going to see that used on these big robots here. Not only does it deal damage for each separate leg, but you are also just entirely invincible while you are sliding.
Very broken mechanic.
It's very cool. Spin dash strike?
That's a 41. That's still pretty good, especially from pressing the first spin dash.
The ending there is a relatively new strat. Normally, you just take out the 2 bigger robots and then homing attack the rest, but spin dashing them while they're still in a set position is more reliable, although it is more difficult. And yes, that was hub road movement. Blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Invisible
and-
buildings, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're coming up on our 3rd town mission in a row. Yet another combat mission. As we have three town missions in a row and then 3 stages in a row. Very funny. Thank you, Sega.
Yeah, Sonic in total has 20 of these, but only 7 of them are required to actually finish the story.
Only 7.
Only 7.
Yeah, only 7. He has the highest amount out of any of the characters.
Yeah. For Shadow and Silver we can skip most missions, but for Sonic we can't because the mirrors have checks in them that actually checks for these missions being completed.
Yeah.
In Shadow Story and Silver Story, those checks don't exist, so we can skip most of the missions.
Yeah, they only thought to put checks in Sonic Story.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're in White Acropolis. This is the one of 2 times we're going to be snowboarding, and while we're snowboarding, we want to actually hold the A button to crouch because that's going to give us better turning control and it's going to prevent us from bonking. And coming up, I'm going to take this jump a little early, so I'm going to land before the jump is supposed to end, and that's actually going to increase my speed. What's happening is... okay, we're not going to take that one. What's happening is we're essentially storing the speed of the jump into our normal snowboard speed, but that has a few caveats, like you are forced to take very specific lines to not essentially fall out of bounds and die. So it takes a lot of practice to properly get through this section with the increased speed.
You're definitely going to see a speed cap glitch in Crisis City, which is the other snowboarding section. So stay tuned for that one. And that jump
that's
right
section
there
1 done.
has killed many a casual player.
Yep.
And this section is a very long and winding section where we have to swap the tails or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I never
I don't
seen
know.
it.
I don't.
We can
it's
just
DLC.
handle this.
That's laser clip. You can just kind of shove yourself in between 2 oxen. Nice physics jump also.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. That saves maybe a second if you do it right.
Yeah, you break the tower a certain way and the rubble causes the big platform to tilt up so that you have enough height to jump up to the platform.
It's relatively precise, but it's very cool.
And now we have Crisis City, the 2nd snowboard stage.
And probably the longest stage in the run.
Yeah.
It's got 4 different sections. You got a boarding section, you got 2 platforming sections, and then you got the good old tornado at the end, rounding it all out. So coming up on this next ramp here, you're going to see the speed cap glitch, but way faster. You'll see him zooming.
Yeah, and the thing about this one is, again, if you get hit, you get launched at a 45-degree angle and you just die instantly. So again, we have to take very specific lines to avoid that.
Yeah, we have to be very careful because if you're going at this speed, you get hit at this speed, and it's not fun.
Hit the load zone, please. Okay, thank God.
Nice.
We just flung Sonic's dead corpse into the load zone there, just barely surviving. Only Reverie things, honestly.
And
But
that
there
was
is
a homing attack whiff to teleport onto some rails lower down. Saves us from having to jump off of the top rail and fall slowly. Rails in 06 are actually really weird because the little trick that you do doesn't actually like properly speed you up. It's actually the input of pressing X. And the the timing on the rails is completely independent of the trick animation. It has like its own special timer. So you can actually press X like 3 times per trick and get 3 times the speed boost.
Yeah. Nowhere is this documented.
Yeah.
Not in the instruction manual, not in any of the unused dialogue, nothing. But it's in the game, and we figured out how it works. So yeah, we got some platforming here.
Because while we're just watching this platforming, we could also maybe talk about any percent. So we are required to do all this in what we call no credit swap. Because believe it or not, Sonic 06 has a credit swap. Who would have figured? Every story has different ways of warping to the credits. So unfortunately, they're not viable for all stories because
Come on, man.
Oh, that sucks.
Very unfortunate. But there are certain flags that we do have to hit to actually unlock certain stories, so we can't do credit swaps in all stories. But if you want a short category to learn, we got a bunch of any percents that are relatively easy to learn.
Yeah. You actually can technically do an all stories any percent if you play on PS3, but it requires a lot of weird stuff that it's not worth explaining right now.
Yeah, it's far too complicated that no one has actually done it, and I think it's only a theory, unless if you've done it, Maddie.
No, I prove it to be true.
Well,
Okay,
there
let's
we
go.
go.
There we go.
Technically real, but not viable.
Yeah, because even if you do any percent, one of the problems is that it does, if, for example, Sonic Story any percent happens before Mission 5. So that's the point where you have unlocked Silver Story, but you haven't unlocked Shadow, because Shadow's story gets unlocked after Crisis City. So if you complete the game, then you have no way of unlocking Shadow's story.
And thus spawn a broken percent, where if you do Sonic Story any percent and then Silver Story any percent, you basically progression soft lock the game because there's no possible way you can unlock Shadow, and therefore finish every story.
It's very funny.
Shout out to DSS doing that run at GDQ a long time ago.
This section sucks casually, and it's not much better in the speedrun. So, similar to Section 1, we have to take specific light dashes in order to avoid getting hit, but it is still random. Like, at any point, I could just get bopped by 2 cars in a row and instantly die. Which we're hoping doesn't happen, but it very much could happen at any moment. This section really makes you appreciate life. And here, I'm going to slam my face into this box so that to try to avoid the S rank. Because the ring bonus is stupidly high. That is a 317. That's a really good IL time if it weren't for the 2 very costly deaths.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Too easy. No sweat.
And now we've unlocked Shadow and we're heading into Flame Core. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and restart the stage to hopefully break out of some automation and save some time. Nice.
Very nice.
So, weird thing about dash panels in this game is they actually don't give you a set speed, they just add to your speed. So, if you're able to go into a light dash with spin dash, or with light dash, you actually enhance the speed that the dash panel gives you, which is very, very useful in certain sections. Flamecore S1 is a very, very skill-based section where you have to do some very precise movement and combat. We obviously skipped that first combat room, but for whatever reason, the second combat room door is like the only door in the game that you just cannot negotiate with whatsoever. It is impossible to clip through, and trust me, we have tried.
We've tried. Yeah, if you can try and find a way to do it and show us how to do it, that'd be really awesome.
That would be sick, but we have tried. So we have to do this combat here.
Usually doors are not an issue for any of the hedgehogs. But that one is.
And we can actually jump off of these doors early, and I'm going to aim to land on a bird here so we can damage boost. And close out the section. Now these meteors raining from the sky, which we oh so graciously call Cocoa Puffs, are entirely random, like that, and they can hit you pretty much any time, even over this last gap. Okay.
If they hit you in that last gap, it's instant death. You just have to cry about it.
There's no way to recover, and it can happen in all 3 flame cores. So hopefully that does not happen.
Yeah, we're safe once.
And anti-grav has uses outside of combat. If you're ever on a horizontal wall and you want to clip through it, just hold and release the X button, and you'll go through the wall.
The control scheme in this game is also really weird. Everything is bound to the X button, so you might want to spin dash and then accidentally anti-grab, or you might want to do a light dash but you accidentally kick. It's lovely, honestly. But here is Knuckles section. We are going to be skipping the entirety of it and going straight to the end of the level. We're going to see some very interesting results from this, known as results breakout, but we'll get there when we get there. We just need to clip out of bounds, and hey, would you look at that? We're at the end tunnel.
That was still 230, that's crazy.
So now we
230
can
is a
control,
very
now we
hard
can
time.
control Knuckles in the results screen. This will be relevant more so in Shadow Story, but I believe the concept is if you swap characters but don't touch a checkpoint, you're able to just break out of the results screen.
Yes.
And you can also we can also skip some gold medals, but that will be relevant in Shadow Story when we get there. But for now, we have Iblis Phase 2. Don't worry about Phase 1, that will come soon, later, but
Yes.
yeah, Phase 2 is very exciting.
They really added this boss to this game.
They truly did.
This is the
230
boss where we
experience.
damage boost to hit a orb early and then mash spin kick because it gives us invincibility. That's the whole fight. It's 2.5 minutes of nothing and we skip half of it.
Yeah.
Truly
Look at this
exciting.
epic gameplay.
Whoa, he's charging at you.
Oh no!
Oh, you hit him. Good job.
These next 2 hits are actually a little tight because after the first hit, he dives at you to try to destroy the platforms. But if we hit the orb before then, he instead aims for the orb so we can hit him.
Ah, the 230 experience.
The 230 experience. I do really like this boss in Sonic runs because it is a proper break. Like, before this, the only break you really have is who's the captain, and then you have to mash. So, is it really a break? I guess. And there we go. We've done the only slightly challenging part of the boss, and now we have to wait for the next minute.
Kill him.
Is that size just for show?
What a good game.
Truly. Intense.
So I don't know if we have anything to fill the time, but
Can't believe what Shadow does to this boss. It's almost the same. almost like the Sharon Arena or something.
Yeah, I can't believe we have to also do this fight as Shadow another time, right?
Yeah,
It's very unfortunate.
in a very similar way.
Yeah, exactly the same, no different, trust me.
Yeah, you still got
We're
the
alluding to something. We'll get to it.
I'll get to it. I'll get there.
We are alluding to something, Robert Downey Jr. meme.
Honestly. Wow.
Yeah.
Gonna charge. Oh, you're on the right side. Cool.
Wow. Wow, I got good RNG. So, the funny thing about this boss is it's 2.5 minutes of nothing, and there's RNG. For the first 3 hits, you can either save or lose 2 seconds if the boss is nice to you.
Yep.
It's just,
We-
we don't know why. You just gain or lose 2 seconds.
Something something draw distance, something something falling stalactite, something something. I mean,
Something
we
like
have
that.
theories.
But now we get into the actual video game. We are back in the present, and now we're going to pick up the bounce bracelet to head into Radical Train. Fun fact, this is the only required upgrade in Sonic Story. All of the other ones are skippable.
Yep. Technically.
Technically.
The balance bracelet is pretty overpowered in combat when you pair it in specific ways, but we'll get to that when we see some combat. But we just need to go down this chimney,
I
and
did
for
not
some
want to hit
reason,
that spring. Okay, whatever.
that takes you to the other chimney, and then you're in the level, and then Radical Train.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up for this level so I can focus.
So the whole point of this level is you have to hit 3 switches in order to explode some boxes that are not only explosive but on a collision course with a train that's traveling down the tracks that apparently contains the princess. So that little lock-on trick is called conveyor skip. Sonic's homing attack and Travis' homing attack their lock-on radius is based on what direction they're facing. So you can face a totally arbitrary direction, but as long as something's generally within that radius, you will lock onto it and you will attack it.
It's quite funny because in Shadow Story we do quite the contrary. We want to destroy the train.
Yeah, we do destroy that train. This is a different train.
Except for this switch, which we're not going to hit because it's at the end of the section. So we can just clip through the door and go to section 2.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
if you take too long to hit any of the switches casually, you automatically restart from a checkpoint or the beginning of the level.
And now for Mark Speed, there's quite a few interesting things going on in Mark Speed. We can take some corner cuts. Let's see if this one will be nice. There we go.
Nice.
Very nice.
Good ramp skip. That little ramp skip saves about 5 seconds. Well done.
And now we just need
Definitely
to
harder
zip
than
to
it
the
looked.
end.
Way harder than it looks.
You can see how much speed these light dashes are giving Rev by how the train rubber bands backwards.
That's a 145. That's pretty good. I'll take that.
Pretty good.
Really nice. And that just gives us also, we also take damage there, so that skips the S rank. It's very convenient.
Now, coming up
Okay.
next, we have possibly the funniest boss in the game.
Second
Yeah.
funniest?
That's true. Second funniest.
So,
Oh, just
Egg
wait.
Genesis, normally we're supposed to fight this boss, and for the most part, yeah, that's true, but there's a very specific bug on the emulator version, which, you know, we'll just let you witness. You just gotta see it.
Blink and you'll miss it.
Die.
And
Very
there we
funny.
go.
Don't ask why. We don't know.
We don't. We
You'll
really
get to see
don't.
it again in silver too.
Yeah, same.
Which, thank God, because this boss sucks. It's like,
No, it's
just inexplicably, that just works. Like, it doesn't work on console, and it doesn't even work on newer versions of Xenia. We have to down patch our Xenia in order to do that.
But for better or for worse, it's in full game and it saves about a minute. It's awesome. Over speedrun strats.
Now we have the Nightmare stage, our second Princess stage, but this one has a very annoying gimmick where you must press A on vines with a specific timing. Now this timing is seemingly random. The game tells you to go with the glow of the bulb, but it is not at all related. It's actually more related to the swing than it is to the glow of the bulb. And with this next one specifically, if you press A at a certain time, you just die.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, usually taking an extra back and forth negates it.
Yeah, but if you take it on the first swing and you press A incorrectly, you just die and lose 30 seconds.
You just fall slowly down to the water, and just since you took no checkpoint before that, it's sad.
Yeah, there isn't a checkpoint until 30 seconds into the level.
Okay, we got through the last of the vines. The purple deathy things.
Thank God. Which is
So
so
you
funny
run them-
because, like, the section 1 is so hard, and then section 2 is, you'll see. So there's a lot of automation here, so we just get time to relax. Oh wait, no we don't.
Yeah, so remember when we said anti-gravity has a second use? This is our second application of that. We clip through the horizontal roll, and we ball.
Yeah, it skips one of the most painfully slow automation sections in the game.
And now we have the very, very exciting and skillful section where we must hold forward.
Truly.
This is legitimately the fastest way through the section.
Yeah, we've tried messing with top route. There are so many alternate paths in this section. Too bad they are all slow.
Yeah, top route isn't even faster. Like on console, top route produces like a bunch of lag, but even on emulator, it's not faster.
Yeah. Tis the reality of walking in a straight line towards your destination.
Yeah.
Welcome Raiders, welcome to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 Relay, and welcome to Pixel Perfect Marathon. There are a bunch of runs. I think there's a schedule somewhere. Probably a command.
Somewhere.
Probably a
Now we
command
have-
in chat.
Now we
Look,
have another nightmare split where we must play an unapologetic filler stage of the first stage we played.
Yeah, you like asset reuse? Here you go.
Alright, Wave Ocean Tails. This is a very different level from Wave Ocean Sonic, because you play it as Tails instead.
Yeah, you
Who coulda guessed?
don't see most of this because we loop launched past it, but this kind of gives you a scale of what we skipped. I'm gonna do a quick little automation boost here. Nice. So
This level is very hard because there are a lot of gaps you have to cross, and if you get flight capped as Tails, you pretty much die. Because if you hit the cap, you actually lose like the second part of his flight, the purely horizontal one. So you just can't make a lot of the gaps. And incoming are two of the big ones. So 43, that's a very good check time.
yeah, that's really nice. So we're gonna see another mini automation boost coming up here. Yeet. And right about where Wave Ocean took us.
Oh, I missed the jump off the rock. Okay, that's fine. Take your time. And then we just slide up this, and then we finish the stage. Thank God nothing went wrong.
Yeah, this stage likes to kill you in very subtle and random ways.
It
Thankfully,
is.
none of that happened.
Also very hard to troubleshoot.
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing wrong? Try it again.
And now we're entering the end game. We're about to pick up the gems, and then we have to do another sequence of 3 town missions in a row in order to enter Kingdom Valley, which is the second to last stage.
So what we're gonna get is the green gem and the blue gem. The green gem does this cool tornado breakdance attack that we will see probably never until Kingdom Valley. The blue gem, however, is very useful and is your now new fastest way to move around. As indicated by the.
Also, yeah, we can just
breaking
cheese this
speed.
mission.
Yeah, you're supposed to. It's a warp portal maze, supposedly.
It is actually faster to take the portals, but I don't know the portal layout, so.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to make it faster, so doing that is very consistent and very.
And now we have
Funny.
every casual player's nightmare. The combat mission with no rings. I'm gonna shut up because this is actually still genuinely a hard mission.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That jump scared me so hard.
Spicy.
yeah, those bombs can get launched in random directions, and that can be literally in front of you. So if you're not ready for it, you can just walk into them and die.
And if you die, you lose like a solid 30 seconds because you have to talk to the guy, load, talk to the guy again, load another time. Oh my god.
Oh, well, there you go.
The
Here's an
Hornet.
example.
So we load, talk to the guy, load again, talk to the guy, load again, talk to the guy, and now we're in the mission again.
Now imagine that on Xbox 360 loading times.
Yeah, where the loads
you
are
have-
like 2 minutes slower.
You have by that point approximately lost a minute in real time.
Yeah.
Plus however long it took you to get there in the mission in the first place.
Thank God. That Hornet specifically is like the worst enemy in this mission. The rest of it is pretty trivial.
You just have one last big guy.
Wouldn't be a
Guy
marathon
there-
run without an M19 death, I guess.
I guess not.
That was incredible.
Next we have the second hardest mission in the game. One where we must choose between Amy and Elise.
Yeah.
And sorry.
Don't
Extremely
do it.
difficult.
Don't do it.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. I don't know the Amy route.
Oh no.
Curse this run forever.
That was
Forever.
incredible.
Neither option is wrong. By the way, you can talk to either. You can go into either portal and talk to the guy by
For either
your
one. However,
NPC of choice.
one option is correct because Elise is 2 frames faster. So, therefore making her the correct choice. Anyway, Kingdom Valley. Stage hard. I'm going to let y'all explain because I'm going to focus.
This stage utilizes a lot of precarious platforming, but along with the blue gem. The blue gem, it gives you a burst of speed every time you press the right trigger, but it locks you out for a very small amount of time from jumping or doing anything else. You're basically going in a very fast straight line. So we're going to spin dash neutral stick into those dash pads to gain the extra speed. And then coming up after this wind current rail is going to be eagle skip. You normally take that eagle into the loading trigger.
Nice. That was a very
instead-
good. That was a 39.2 without Sharu rope. What the hell?
Yeah.
That was clean.
Normally
And now
we
we're
get
going to
off
skip
the-
silver.
Yeah, normally we get off the eagle, and when we land, we switch to silver. We play as him for a bit. You can get off him early and traverse a series of pillars to this is supposed to be his section. And then you can go over here to switch from you to you.
It's very funny.
It's very funny. That's where you would give control back to Sonic, but you are already Sonic, but it does not matter. Now, this third section is probably one of the hardest platforming gauntlets in the game. You're going to see an example of spin dash clipping, which is basically you spin dash at a corner in a door at a pretty specific
Ah,
angle.
damn it. If you homing attack on these wind rails a certain way, they'll just warp you further, but I missed the optimal warp. But coming up, we have a pretty difficult skip called Castle Skip. We're going to
This is why
hope
we-
to skip some automation with the green gem.
Yeah, this is why we brought the green gem.
We're gonna see
The
some
only time we
awesome
use it.
dance moves from Sonic.
Hopefully.
Ah, damn it.
Ah,
You're supposed to lock onto the eagle in the distance, then green gem a tower, walk on it while it's falling, and then jump to the invisible chain jump trigger, but we missed the eagle, so we're just gonna take our 8-second time loss and play the game as Yuji Naka intended.
Yep. Yeah, the spin dash clip. Definitely not intended.
Sorry, Yuji Naka.
Yeah, sorry about that. And then we have the infamous magnet stairs. Those stairs crumble and fall as you run on them.
God damn it, man!
And you cannot jump off of them as they are falling. You just kind of get magnetized to them for some reason.
I should have just spin dashed again. Come on.
Yeah, no. Hey, there we go. There we go. And we normally have a bunch of combat to do here, but thankfully it only opens a door. So we know what we do with doors. Oh, you skid clipped. Nice.
Yeah, blue gem skid is just what I do, man. There's an easier clip there where you can just spin dash at it, but blue gem skid is faster, so I do it.
I don't think it's something anyone else does.
I don't think so, which is weird because you'd think other people would do it. Anyway, we have the easiest Mach speed section. Yeah, take lines, don't fall. That's pretty much it.
Light dash a lot.
This is a pretty good Kingdom Valley for not having castle skip.
Yeah, no, not bad at all.
It's like a mid 330.
And this is probably the hardest level casually in Sonic Story, and it all goes downhill from here. I think Aquatic Base is a bit easier, even though it's a bit
331. Wow.
Well,
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good, yeah.
Just ate it.
So to open the door to the Aquatic Base portal, we have to ring 3 bells that are located across all these corners of the castle town. But during that, we're gonna buy a couple of extra gems, which are the really fun ones. The Sky Gem and the White Gem.
Thanks, man. The difficult thing about this is that you blue gem bonk on everything, and the random passerbys in Soliana Town are completely random. So they can just spawn in just places and just knock you over. And you lose 2 seconds every time that happens. So the goal is to not bonk.
Yeah, on walls or otherwise. So we're going to see a demo of the Sky Gem very soon. Sky Gem is probably my favorite upgrade of all time in any Sonic game. You throw it, when it'll hit something, you go to it. Very simple. Turns the game into Sekiro. And Aquatic Base really shows off the power of the Sky Gem.
Thank God they added the Ender Pearl to Sonic 06.
Yeah, it's great. White Gem allows you to homing attack basically off the ground on a separate button, so you can do a surf clip, but basically instantly by canceling your homing attack momentum, or in this case White Gem momentum, into the ground. Coming up, we would have to play as Tails for about a couple minutes, or at least a minute, but we have Aquatic Base skip, so we're going to use Sky Gem to clip up here and land on this roof out of bounds, and throw it to the room where Shadow and Silver start, but we're not supposed to be here, so we have to clip out again. Then we can clip into this door that we normally unlock after playing as Tails, and we're done. Wonderful, wonderful skip. That's probably the last time we see Anti-Grav. Bye, Baseball Slide. Are we going to see Knuckle Skip? Are we going to see
I'm feeling frisky. I'll go for it.
Yeah.
I probably should have grabbed the check, but oh well. We ball.
Yeah, we ball, I suppose. So usually you have to do combat to open that door and switch to Knuckles.
That was a little
no,
high.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
But with Sonic, since you have the White Gem, you can do a series of pretty precise Sky Gem throws. Especially in the precise Sky Gem throw.
Yeah, it saves like a second IGT, so you have to be really fast with it, or else it just won't save time.
Yeah,
But now
mainly
we're
found
entering.
It was mainly found because in RTA on console, the combat would cause a lot of FPS drops as you switch to Knuckles.
Sheesh, that was so good.
Sub to 10, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
That's incredible.
Very nice.
And okay, now we have the silliest boss in the game.
We'll be
Which
ready
is-
to swap to Shadow very soon, but first we have to deal with Egg Wyvern. Ooh,
That was
scary
actually a
boss.
gold. That aquatic base was a gold.
Nice.
Right back at you. I'll finish this heat. Right back at you.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss it.
Goodbye, boss. And that's the end of Sonic's story.
There we go. It's now time for
So now we
Shadow
can,
Story.
Transition on over to Shadow.
Yeah. Okay, so I will be starting Shadow Story in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Shadow Story. So Shadow's basic form of movement, as you're gonna see, is basically his homing attack, as walking is pretty slow, and Shadow doesn't have a spin dash in this game for whatever reason, so homing attacking will be our best form of movement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which
here we
is-
have...
so-
go first.
Yeah, so that means that homing attacking as fast as possible in a lot of grounded sections is going to be our fastest. Like it's the princess movement all over again.
What you saw there was a pause clip. You press A and start on the same frame. You get an A press the frame you pause, and then the frame your gameplay resumes, which is just the frame after. So you get an impossibly fast homing attack into the ground, which allows Shadow to get a bunch of speed. And if you shove yourself at a corner in this game with a bunch of speed, you can clip through basically any door or corner in the game. It's very useful.
It's really funny because all three of the main hedgehogs have some way to just completely invalidate walls.
Or at least doors.
So now we
So what-
have a very long section where we have to destroy a bunch of searchlights with this buggy. So what we're going to do is we're going to snipe them all from this hill. Because there is actually no goal ring. Like, the results are directly spawned in by destroying all these searchlights. That was
Yeah, so-
very clean.
Maddie jumped over the checkpoint, and that's very important because if you remember earlier, we talked about results breakout. We can now control Shadow, and for whatever reason, if you play a dialogue line, or I believe you spawn a text box, you can skip the results screen, and that will take you straight to the gold medal screen, and that saves a little bit, and it's very worth it in the RTA setting.
Another effect is that if you grab rings while on that state, you can see that now I have rings, because it like gets like stored over from White Acropolis. It doesn't make sense, but it's something that happens. So yeah, remember when we said the X-Servers was a lot worse with Shadow?
Yeah.
This boss sucks in this category. It is the second split, and it is, one, a complete RNG fest, and two, a complete physics fest. So
It
in
is.
Sonic's story, we're able to homing attack onto the rails midway through to kind of ensure that we travel along Serb's back nicely. But in Shadow, for whatever reason, he can't homing attack on the rails. He has to land on them, which adds another layer of jank to a Serb that did not exist in Sonic's story.
The
And
Serb may
you
be
have to get 4
turning,
hits.
like he is now.
Yeah, if he turns, you just have to hold a direction and hope that you don't fall off.
Yeah.
Category, I personally run this category more than the other ones, except for last story. This split right here, the X-Servers boss fight, is the biggest like bottleneck of getting a run out. Otherwise, this run is really incredible. Maddie is going to show off a lovely demonstration of this run, I'm sure. But
A 120
Shadow
Serb is
Story-
actually not terrible considering what happened.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like,
You know,
besides the
138
first hit, that
frames.
went well, but, like,
there's
it
so much
sucks
that can go
when you
wrong.
have to run
you have to
against a
trust.
sub 1 Serb.
You- there's so much that can go wrong, trust. But thankfully, not much did.
Like, there is an iceberg of, like, we could genuinely make a Sonic 06 iceberg with just Serb jank.
Yeah, there are things
There's
that have happened.
that much there.
So now,
Now
we're
we
gonna
have-
go over to Kingdom Valley, which is in the forest.
Hub
Generally,
movement.
Shadow, you don't want to lock onto things or be intercepted by, say, like an NPC. And on the way, we're going to get 2 upgrades. We're going to get our Light Dash, which we're going to see right here, and we're going to get the Blue Memory Chip, which allows us to access Chaos Boost and eventually Chaos Snap, which we'll see all the way in Flame Core, which is not for a bit. What Matty is doing on those slopes is he's canceling his homing attack into an incline and then spin kicking to preserve that speed without actually having to hold a direction and then cap his speed. So a very similar principle to Sonic and Mach Speed.
So now we have Kingdom Valley, and this is the first, well, I guess the second of 4 vehicles. The hang glider, you are on a spline, and the only thing you can do to speed it up is press A once every 3 seconds. So these sections boil down to, can you count to 3?
Yep, that's it.
And in this next section, we're supposed to have a really long section where we hunt down keys as Rouge to open this door, but if you remember from White Acropolis, we don't have to abide by the laws of the game.
Yeah, we don't
So we're
like
trying to
those.
get this frame perfect A+ start input. Because again, it is frame perfect. Luckily, pauses are not actually timed on emulator, so you don't have to worry about missing them, but it can be kind of annoying to get that frame perfect A+ start input sometimes.
Yeah.
And these falling towers are very, very terrible. Like, sometimes they just snipe
Especially
you and end your run. Yeah. Like, especially casually, and even in the run, we have, like, no real way to avoid them. That was sketchy, but I'm very glad you lived.
Yeah.
And instead of getting out in about 3 minutes, we can get out of here in about 1-ish. Sorry, Rouge. We'll see you again in Flameport.
So yeah, I wanted to home in attack the robot on the far right there, but Shadow didn't target it.
Oof.
So yeah, I'm gonna go save now. I'm just gonna target that one. Okay, so coming up next we have a really hard boss clip,
Yeah,
which I'm
is
This
using
one-
his
fun, but-
bosses to help me with. That should work?
This
Okay, yeah.
this one sucks because you have to jump immediately after, because there's no ground. There's no ground in front of where you're clipping. You have to immediately jump in order to make the gap. That is really, really hard.
Yeah, using bosses does make it a little bit easier, but you can still miss it pretty easily.
Instead of unlocking that cage, we can bounce off a robot, target its spring. And we said automation in 06 kind of works. This time it works in our favor. You just land in a spot kind of by the dash panel, and then you get to skip normally a very lengthy automation section where you go all the way up the castle and all the way down the castle, and it saves about 8 seconds.
And now we just have some clean movement and going around combat until the end of the section. Like, these towers have a bunch of enemies in them, but they didn't remove the alternate platforms, so there's also a door here, so you know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, this is just the theme for Shadow's story, is pausing and going through doors.
Yeah. Although it's supposed to be a combat-centric story, she does have tools for it, and we'll get to see them a lot later.
Very nice Ramsey rail.
We get hit to avoid an S rank, as is tradition. One more boss clip. Whoop.
Nice.
There we go. Very clean demonstration of Kingdom Valley Shadow there, and we got a lot more like it.
Coming up is the longest stage in Shadow's Run, which also happens to be Crisis City. We get a return of the buggy, but we have to actually move it now, which is somewhat problematic due to the uneven nature of the ground. Generally, you want your front 2 or back 2 tires to land on the ground, or else your car will bounce up if you hit all four, and it is not fun.
Yeah, the buggy is very, very bouncy and will just go out anywhere, just like on the slightest bit of rubble, as you can see.
That'll barely work.
Oh,
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! We
You
were
take a bit of
aiming.
hit.
We were aiming to get a big launch out of the half pipe by boosting a bunch and building up our speed, but the buggy died slightly beforehand, so we're gonna have to traverse on foot.
Yeah,
Shadow,
we wanted.
shame.
We wanted to go all the way to that rail we traveled to, but unfortunately, that was not the case.
Shoutouts to the PS3 version. There are very slightly different buggy physics that make it extremely light, so you can just fling yourself to the end of that section. It's very fun.
Fun for the whole fam.
And unfortunately, we can't actually homing attack with a Shadow, so we just have to take the fall.
yeah. Shadow can with his homing attack, but unlike Sonic, he doesn't keep travel gaining speed, and his homing attack will get cancelled, just like when you do a normal homing attack. So yeah, it's not useful for nothing.
Yeah, there's a very tight homing attack off the box there to skip some combat. And then coming up, actually, I don't know if you're gonna do it, but I'm gonna explain it anyway. Coming up, we have a bit of automation that we went through as Sonic, but we're gonna aim to break it this time. Because there are a bunch of enemies and rocks that fall around near this section.
Oh, that looks
And
Oh,
if we enter the automation right,
No.
we were aiming to offset Shadow's position once he got into the automation so that he bonked into the wall instead of hitting that second dash panel. And then we were going to do a spin kick on a rock in order to launch ourselves over to this section, Havoc Physics Engine style. But unfortunately, we did not get that, and we're just going to play the game normally.
This might look a bit familiar.
Yeah.
More glider section. Yay!
Yay!
This time we have more obstacles. It's a little more challenging.
Slightly. Not by a lot, but, you know, take what you can get.
Yeah,
Free
it's
one-up.
a difficulty increase.
Another free one-up.
Yep. It does not matter
then-
how much you steer. It's just you're going forward at a constant speed. It doesn't matter.
And then coming up, we have a completely new section. This is unique to Shadow and Silver. And this is just a lot of clean homing attack. Oh my god, we're gonna go for it once?
yeah, it
For the
doesn't
one
look
time?
good, but whatever. Oh.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright. Yeah, there's a very degenerate trick you can do there, similar to the rock launch that we alluded to earlier. Oof.
Are we
That's
going
fine, there's
through
a
the game?
one-up right here. Where you can fling yourself directly to the end of the section, but the thing about it is the rocks don't break automatically. You have to break it yourself, which means there's variation in how the rock breaks, which just makes it stupidly hard.
Yeah, object variation is object position variation and manipulation is something that,
Yep, take a few extra spheres. There
Okay.
we go.
yeah.
So the
Reset your gravity. So you basically are falling from rest again. I hate this camera.
yeah, that camera sucks. But now we just have a whole lot of rail grinding.
Oh, this is normally where that first rock launch would take you, is the beginning of that rail section. Or if you're really nuts, the farthest rock launch we've seen is to the very end of this rail section, where this spring is. Which is quite some distance. It's currently
Yeah,
IL world record.
The IL record for this stage is insane.
It's at 253.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
as you're about to see, we're about to get like a 415.
Which is not bad considering
Yeah, not
No
terrible
rocks.
at all.
the rocks and then a buggy explosion.
And the world record could even go lower just by playing off PS3 because of the faster buggy physics.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, there are a lot of things in OS 6 that are not full game safe that are absolutely incredible. the ILing scene for this game is also pretty awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah, people have been running ILs practically since the game released, which would be in 2006, I guess. And we've grinded all of these ILs down to an insane level. Particularly Maddie is a really big IL fan.
Yeah.
Most notably known for taking down every single IL record that did not have video. He was just like, one day he was just like, hey, I'm bored. I'm just gonna make all these ILs disappear.
Yeah. I just check on RCRC to check what ILs didn't have video and start grinding them until I got world record.
It's a very valiant cause. But now we
Also-
have Chaos Boost.
Yeah.
And with that brings Chaos Snap, which is a very convoluted and complex ability that we do not have time to explain. If you want to know the details, join the 06 Discord. We will we will direct you to a literal essay written about Chaos Snap. But the important thing you need to know is that if you hold A during a homing attack, you will stop halfway and Shadow will glow red and you'll charge a snap. And then the next time you homing attack, you actually won't travel to your destination, you'll instantly teleport to it. So that allows us to teleport through the near unclippable door and skip that second combat section. And something else funny with Snap is, like, I wasn't exaggerating, it is literal teleportation. So the game physically, like, just sends you to the coordinates. So there's another quirk where if you try to teleport onto something that has multiple homing attack beacons, the game doesn't have a set of coordinates to send you to. So instead, it just defaults to sending you to the origin of the stage, i.e. the coordinates 0, 0, 0. So we're going to charge a snap here, and we're going to go over to this rail, and we're going to teleport to the origin of the stage,
Nice.
fling our body into a kill plane to hit a checkpoint and teleport halfway across the level.
That saves
That
about
trick is-
15 seconds.
Yeah, that trick is called Chaos Control, and that was a very, very clean setup. And now we're just gonna do the same thing we did as Knuckles.
Hey, look, Knuckles, but Rouge.
But
No
different.
way. Slightly
Yeah.
different.
It's almost exactly the same. You just clip through the exact same spot and go to the exact same endpoint. Very amusing.
Except you damage boost as Rouge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or try to. There we go.
As Knuckles, he
bad.
goes through the end of the stage directly because he falls faster, but Rouge falls slower, so you have to take that damage boost.
and now we have what we alluded to in the Sonic run. This is
Yeah.
Iblis Phase 2, and we are not going to complete it how you'd expect.
Yeah, we are trying to be as non-confrontational as possible here. So we're gonna go up and hit an orb still, and that's where it ends. Like,
Oh,
Ooh.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we have to take a restart. This strat is very tight.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so-
a very specific setup for this.
yeah, you have to make it back. So 'cause that's what the platforms are. You gotta run away as far and as fast as possible. Because look at how scary this worm is.
It's
Next time
very
you-
nightmare fuelish. So we're gonna sit above this ring, and we're gonna wait for Iblis to dive at us. The reason we hit the orb is because it makes him dive slightly faster. So we're gonna get hit to get invincibility, and then we're going to immediately fall on this ring, which allows us to have invincibility again. Then we're going to pause clip out of bounds, hold spear, wait for this camera pan. Then we're gonna homing attack 4 times to go out of bounds. Do a full jump, and take note of our time as we're pausing through the lava. Now, in 06, if you go a certain distance away from the origin of the stage, XYZ, whatever direction, you will die. The game just kills anything that goes beyond there. But that also means that it kills bosses if they get below there. So we're going to go just above where the game would auto-kill us, and we're going to aim to have Iblis go underneath us. Because, fun fact, whenever he dives under the lava, an intangible version of him actually appears below you. So we're going to force him into that failsafe and we're going to hopefully completely despawn the boss.
There you go. That was Iblis 2.
Yep, that saved
That was a
about
very
1 minute
good-
off the fight.
A minute, an entire minute.
Shout out to Gordon Ramsay for discovering this. Best Christmas present I ever received. I woke up at 9. He DM'd me at like 3 in the morning. He's like, "I found it,"
Yeah.
and he's like, and I'm like, "What?"
It was like
lowercase
schizo-
what?
He was schizo posting in the 06 Discord at like 4 a.m. being like, "I did it, he's dead!"
And then we saw it, and we agreed.
Now we have not really an unapologetic filler stage. We're gonna see another version of this. Like in every story, there's a stage where the amigo plays. We're gonna hope. No moon jump.
Well, we got a chance. If you release your glide the frame before you land,
By the way,
you
this,
you go up proportional to how long you've been gliding. Hopefully.
That was a frame early. Again,
No,
frame perfect
no.
trick at 60 FPS, and there isn't really a good visual indicator. Yeah. It would save some time because we wouldn't have to climb on these lasers. We would instead just go over them, but we're going to take our time loss and leave.
Yeah.
So this is a stage that we only see as Rouge, and because for some reason they thought to make Sonic replay a stage, but have the Amigo stages in the other stories be unique. Sure.
As unique as Liquid Mustard.
Yeah, as unique as climbing up lasers can be.
Yeah.
Don't bother trying to
and now it's Mephiles Phase 1. I like this IO.
Yes, you do.
This is the main boss of Shadow Story, and the entire gimmick with these fights is he's in our shadow, as he is resurrected from Shadow's shade. So we have to force him out of our shadow, and the way we do that is by popping Chaos Boost, because, you know, like, Shadow emits a little bit of light. So we have to homing attack these goons, which will give us drives, and we have to do it in a particular way so that we can get Chaos Boost after only 3 of these circles, which we look to be in the clear for.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a 3-circle section 1. It could take 4 circles of goons, but if you have enough chaos drive, then you can skip the 4th circle. So we're going to
then we
see
just beat 'em up.
we're going to see a bunch of snaps to get to Mephiles as quickly as possible. And now is the Omega section. Mephiles can spawn in one of, I think, 9 or 7 different positions.
7.
places.
Yeah, 7 different positions. And it's completely random which one he goes to. But if he goes to the same one, like that, for example, if he stays in the same place, your bullets will hit twice, and it will count as an extra hit. And the IL world record for this is completely RNG based and is insane how lucky.
Nice, sub 120.
Sub 120 is something you absolutely want in a run like this. It is insane.
Yeah, I know. Anything below
very good
120
F1.
is great.
Yeah, the community gold, which was the former IL world record by Turbo Run, is a 108, I believe, which just has Mephiles stay in the same place like 5 or 6 times, which is like galactically lucky.
1 in 7 chance, 5 times.
Yeah.
So now we're going to pick up the Memory Shard Red, which is going to allow us to perform Chaos Lance, which won't be useful until way later in the run. We'll explain when we get there, though. For now, we're just going to do a few building clips to get to this stage faster. Normally, we have to go meet up with Rouge in the warehouse because Radical Train isn't available until then, but we can clip through walls. So
Yeah.
we're going to pause clip here to skip a cutscene.
Very nice.
Nice.
And now, Radical Train Shadow is much like Sonic, where you have to, instead of saving a train, you have to beat up a train. But if you remember, Shadow, again, can phase through walls. So we are going to completely ignore our objective and pause clip through this door. Now, what that does is it sets us on a 56-second auto-kill timer. After 56 seconds elapse, the game will just kill us and we'll go back to the last checkpoint. But it's very, very feasible to beat the section in under 56 seconds, which means we don't have to incur the consequences of our actions and we can just speed to the end. This looks to be on good pace.
Yeah,
We're going
this
to
definitely-
pause clip through this next door. We're gonna
keep
grab
that
this
open.
energy capsule.
I didn't want to do that.
Oops. It's fine. We can immediately snap into the cage because, again, it's teleportation. It doesn't care about walls, and go to the end of the section.
48 is a great first section. And now we have it's the last of our 4 vehicles, the bike.
Ooh.
This
The
thing, this thing likes to tip
Where?
over. Yeah.
Yeah, it likes to spin out, and if you hit, like, any of those jump panels, it makes it very hard to get to the end before that train that stopped us gets in our way. Which is just time loss. This stage is very, very hard.
So now
Because
we need to shoot down the train with the bike. We could shoot all of the carriages and shoot like a million shots on the back, or we can just shoot the side of it like 3 times and it just explodes.
It's very funny. We don't know why
Wasn't
it does
good at
that.
This one?
Yeah, what the? Wait, what?
What? How did you ask
Normally you're supposed to get an A rank on that stage, so just like an A or a B rank, just automatically. Like it's normally not a concern, but damn,
Okay.
I've
AGM.
I've never seen anyone S rank that stage before. That's funny.
Yeah, no, that is strange.
And now we have, yeah,
Yeah.
like you saw me die in this fight in Sonic Story, but there's just no way you can die on this fight in Shadow Story. So what's happening here is we forced Silver on one side of the train, and for some reason his AI doesn't think to jump. So we lock onto the train with our homing attack, and then we do a chaos attack, which looks for another target, so it locks onto Silver, and we can just attack him through the train. By the way, a 16 there is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, normally you want to get a mid-17.
Yeah, no, 16 is very good. It's a weird level, and it's hard to save
Funny
time past.
cutscene.
Funny
Funny
cutscene.
cutscene.
P Cinema, Pete Grassfield.
We'll just let it play out.
Yeah.
Chaos control.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Insane.
And then yeah. And then we head to Aquatic Base, which is, much like Sonic, one of the most broken stages in the game. So there's a bunch of combat we have to do, and like some swapping to Silver or something. I don't know why we would swap to him, considering we just kicked him, but we're gonna not do that. We're gonna just go to the end of the section.
What?
What the hell? Yeah, what?
You can't-
My
can't
controller
remember.
has dead some problems, so
Not
it was
bad.
probably holding up, and it was holding nothing.
Yeah, that's section 1. That's supposed to be like a 2-minute section that we just did in 19 seconds. And section 2 is much the same. We have a little bit of required combat here because clipping through that door is demonic.
Yeah, no. On 360
Yeah.
at least. On PS
Because
it's a bit
Shadow
easier.
tries to target the loop as he's trying to clip through, which can make clipping through things harder. Oh. Man, please. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
sometimes
getting pause clips
clips-
can just be mad annoying sometimes. And now we have the bike again, but it's not nearly as much of a problem here because you can just hold forward and mash A.
Shoutouts to the insane amount of lag that this generates on PS3 at least. It can
And on 360.
It can
Yeah.
be crazy.
And now we have some required combat because the goal ring actually doesn't spawn until we defeat all of these enemies. But this is a really good showcase of what Chaos Snap does in combat, which yet again we do not have time to explain. It is a very messed up and convoluted system that you just have to adapt to.
It works.
It works very well. It has a very high skill ceiling, but it is a lot of spaghetti. Sub 130,
Very
nice.
And this is one of the stages you're kind of forced to S rank just because you are killing so many enemies. You get a lot of points in the process, and it's not really worth it to damage yourself because you get the S rank anyways.
And because the time bonus is ridiculous, because we skip literally the entire first section.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the time bonus on Sonic Aquatic Base is like nothing, but on Silver and Shadow, it's like massive. Anyway, now we have a town mission to do, except we don't actually have to do it. we're gonna jump around on a building to skip a massive, massive event box that would normally force us into the mission. So our current goal is to find the Scepter of Darkness, and the mission that we skipped was to protect the archaeologist who knows where it is. But we're speedrunners, we already know where it is, so we're just gonna skip the mission and go straight to it.
Alright, happy birthday to you.
Light all the birthday candles. This,
I
I swear, this section makes us look like morons because no matter how you play that, no matter how you light the birthday candles, it just looks like you're doing it wrong. There is no right way to do it. And after that, we have a clip into immediate jump in order to skip the trigger again and go to Wave Ocean, which is the level that the Scepter of Darkness unlocks.
Very fast. So here is
And
Wave
now we
Ocean. We have a hang glider section at the very beginning, which is the same as the other one, I suppose.
40 seconds of just double tapping A.
Yep. And then we'll go into the next section, which is entirely done with Omega. Omega has quite a few interesting things to him. We've only seen him in combat with Methless 1, but Omega has a few interesting quirks with him. For one, he is unironically the fastest character on the ground.
Hello? My controller, please?
Oh no.
No! Go, go, go! Alright. Yeah, he's the fastest character in the game, and his hover, when spammed, does not depreciate in height at all. Meaning, we can just go around things. Normally this stage you're supposed to play as Omega, and then you're supposed to swap to Shadow, and then Shadow and Omega have to meet up and fight Mephiles. But we don't have to swap to Shadow. There are actually like 3 different ways to skip Shadow. One involves a moon jump, which Omega can do, much like Rouge that we unfortunately did not see. There's a jump on a rock when you just spam hover around the invisible wall, which is the method that pretty much everyone does. And then there's a very funny method where you walk at the back of a box and clip through a wall. I don't think we'll see it, yeah, no, unfortunately. But it is, like, unironically one of the hardest clips in the game, and it saves, like, 2 seconds on this otherwise you get the same time every time stage. It's very
go
funny.
Around the invisible wall, and hey look, the gold ring is right there. Nothing is stopping us from just touching it, so Omega, we're going to take the spring just to get there a teeny bit faster, and hey, Omega is facing the wrong way.
Woohoo.
Also, the HUD is blurry because for whatever reason, on my PC at least, for some reason whenever Omega model is loaded, the HUD gets blurry. I have never seen
Wait,
anyone
what?
else have this problem. and it
Wait,
only
what?
happens
I've
to
never
me.
heard of that before.
We
Yeah,
love
look, the
Omega.
loading screen is almost...
Oh yeah, what the hell? Anyway, now we have a required combat mission, mission 15. This mission is sick because it gives us Chaos Boost straight away, and you see that we upgraded to level 2. This is Chaos Lance that we bought earlier. We have our normal snap shenanigans, which again, don't have time to explain, but Lance actually allows us to hit worms while they're underground. So this worm is going to spawn, and it's going to be underground for a while. But if we can snipe it with a lance while it's underground, it'll actually appear instantly, which saves some time. This mission's so cool. This is like unironically a lot of Shadowrunner's favorite segment in the run. Like, see, there we go. We made that worm appear instantly. Sub 1? Not quite. But that's still very nice time.
Very nice, and that unlocks the way to Dusty Desert, which will be our last act before the final boss, which will be Methods 2. So swapping will come shortly to Silver Story, but Maddie has given us a great showcase of Shadow Story, but it all comes down to Dusty Desert. That's right, it's one of those endgame levels that has a really hard trick. Not even a hard trick, it's just a
It's
trick.
just a stupid trick.
It's a stupid trick that you can screw up when you have a lot of nerves. Welcome to Dusty Desert, Section 1.
This is, so... we're supposed to drive a hover car around this massive section and go through checkpoints and play Mario Kart or whatever, but of course it's slow. So we're going to aim to flip the hover car over by ramming it up against this wall. Now this comes with a lot of problems. Oh, we actually got it first try. That's so nice. Problem number one, you can flip it over, but the game still thinks you're hovering, so the car doesn't destroy like it did there. Problem number two, sometimes you don't flip, and problem number three, if you don't flip, the birds, your backup is to let the birds destroy the car naturally, and the birds have really, really stupid AI, and they will just miss a stationary target. But we got through really clean, and now we're into the indoor section of Dusty Desert, where we will not play things as intended. We can either finish this section as Shadow or finish as Omega. We're going to choose to finish it as Shadow because it's faster. We're going to pause clip through this wall and enter a second sand room. That pause clip skips half the level. That saved like 3 minutes. Ooh, very smart. Falling down to homing attack the spike ball to progress. Very small pause clip on that door to to skip the door opening. And now we're in the clear. We're just trudging along to the end of the stage. And there we go. 142 Dusty is really nice.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
especially considering I lost a little bit on the flip and clip.
So now we are going to go on to the last boss of Shadow Story, which will be Mephiles Phase 2. Mephiles Phase 2 has some really interesting quirks with it. It's completely unlike Mephiles Phase 1 for the most part. We're going to use Omega's big hitbox here to hit some of these little guys a little bit earlier than we're supposed to. Or I don't even think we're supposed to hit them, but...
No, we're not supposed to at all. These mini shades are dunking into the grape juice to form some bigger shades that are supposed to give us 25% of our meter each, but that's not what end up happening. Well, that's not what end up happens. So, we have to stay still after defeating each one in order to ensure that we're getting as many gauges as possible. So we're gonna stay still for a bit there to try to get as many. We kind of got unlucky because the cores just die. Like, if you move too much, the cores just lose tracking of you and despawn. So our goal here is to skip the last goon and pop Chaos Boost while only defeating 4 of them. This is definitely not goon skip pace, yeah. We got very unlucky. Oh, actually, that was a lot closer than I thought it would be. But now we've defeated all 5 of them. We're going to pop Chaos Boost, and we're just going to kind of wail on him until he's at about half health. Then once he reaches half health, he's going to automatically pop out of our next attack. And then we're going to attack him in a specific way so that we can reach a certain HP threshold. When Meph is at 2 HP, he'll begin a ladder sequence that forces you to homing attack up a bunch of clones. But if we leave him at 3 health and then charge a snap, we can immediately Chaos Snap onto him and hold A, which will deal 3 damage, killing him instantly.
And that's Shadow done.
And now we are ready
Silver.
to swap on over to Silver Story.
Let's go, Labrys.
Silver Story is normally a very...
Silver Story is normally very, very slow and methodical, but we have a lot of ways to make it not slow and not methodical. By way of abusing physics objects, most notably in this form, which is known as telethrow. Oof.
Bit unfortunate.
This trick involves manipulating physics objects very particularly, most notably standing on them as low as possible. So when we stand on these objects and throw them while we're like lifting, normally we're forced off of them, but if you stand at specific points, which depends on the object, Silver isn't forced off of them properly, which means that we throw them and we stay on them, so we fly with the object. Bit of texture corruption there, we had to pause to fix that. Here we're supposed to play as Blaze, but Silver can fly, so we're going to skip Blaze and instead telethrow to the end of the section. This is Silver's bread and butter. Like, this is the main thing we're going to be doing for most stages, and it comes in many forms and fashions.
Yeah, the entire first half is basically a bunch of telethrows and a bunch of clip-ins. The second half is a completely different ballpark. We're going to be skipping an upgrade and buying an upgrade, and you'll see how that dramatically changes the game. So we're going to telethrow to the end of the level. I hope you enjoy Silver flying on very random objects. Spoiler alert, when I say really random objects, we are going to be literally using a shovel at some point in the run. So
yeah, it's very humorous. Here we get results breakout because we played for Blaze for a microsecond upon entering the third section.
yeah. So we should also mention, Silver is the most volatile category in the entire game. There are so many frame perfect tricks and so many like precise telethrows and so much this and that
So much bosses.
Yeah, there's a lot of bosses as well, including Iblis 1. We're gonna throw specific rocks at specific times and hopefully not have a complete Iblis meltdown.
Yeah, the cycles normally comes in groups of 3. I'm going to go for a strat known as bonus cycle. He's going to throw a bunch of flaming meteors or Cocoa Puffs at us. And hopefully I can get a third cycle as they're approaching me.
This strat is
Nice.
very tight, but saves a lot of time. Let's go.
That saves about 5 seconds.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, so
Down, Silver.
as you can see, Silver combat is based on object mechanics, which, as you know, Havoc Physics Engine, not amazing at dealing with those. So, again, putting into the fact that Silver's volatile. If you miss that third cycle, you can lose up to 20 to 25 seconds just in the second split of the run. Normally, it's not a problem, but sometimes it can just bite you.
So now we're going to be making our way to Tropical Jungle, but before that we have some hub world movement, so you can kind of get familiar with how this is going to go down. Lab is going to go for Lab's going to go for a telethrow on a specific set of rocks, and we need to kind of pivot Silver around the rocks so that we can use the same set of rocks to telethrow in another direction. If we miss it, we do get to see a funny trick though, so let's see.
Ooh.
Oh,
This is what we used to do. Telethrow is a very recent trick. It was found in a 2021 on accident by Focusite. And we realized it was mid-marathon, actually. And we found it was faster, and it cut the world record down by about 5 minutes RTA.
Yep.
But-
So now we have infinite water bounce, which is what we used to do to cross this gap. You just simply hold the X button. You long jump and hold the X button, and you just bounce on the water infinitely.
Because Stun Slap has very, very strange momentum preservation properties, which is essentially what allows that water bounce to be done, which we'll get into in a bit. But now we have a box telethrow. Woohoo. Get to the end of the
Explosive box,
stage.
we can telethrow on it. Of course we can.
If it can be lifted.
If it can be lifted, it can be thrown.
Yep.
So that was Tropical Jungle. Next, we have the Amigo stage for Silver's story, which is Wave Ocean Blaze. And we're going to be seeing a very, very similar trick to what we saw in Sonic's story, except in a bit of a different direction. So Lab actually held X on that save prompt in order to buffer an X input right here to break out of this automation. And we're going to go to the side of the loop, same as Sonic, but we're going to go in a bit of a different position. Blaze actually gets a bit more freedom of movement after she warps with her homing attack, because hers functions the exact same way as Sonic's. Ooh, bit off position there. That's fine. This trick is pretty hard. So there's a lot of leniency with actually where you can land after this warp, like there. With Sonic, that is a gargantuan task to get over there, but with Blaze, it's pretty easy. So that skips half of the level.
Yeah, about 45 seconds, 35, 50 seconds of good gameplay. At least. I'd
Bare
say about a
minimum.
minute. And just do a bit of only attacking. This is one of 2 times we play as Blaze. Sad that she really doesn't get that much screen time. Really fun character control.
We were supposed to play as her in Crisis City, but no. Also, fun fact here, we didn't get 50,000 points, but we got the S rank because for some reason, this internally is a boss. So, or at least the S rank requirement is. So the S rank is 30k, so we can't skip it.
But if you go back in trial mode, it is 50k.
For whatever
This
reason.
this is one of the bugs that was actually fixed on the PS3 version. On that version, the score is properly set to
Maybe I'll talk to
50k.
some people in the town.
Because they really thought, yeah, let's fix a few bugs when they made the PS3 version. Anyway, here we're supposed to go talk to a bunch of people in the town and protect the mayor from a bunch of Eggman robots, but we don't have to do that because again, the only checks they added to the game were in Sonic's story. So we're going to lift a box into this corner to clip through the ceiling and just head straight to Dusty Desert, which is the most volatile stage in the entirety of Silver's story.
Now you may be thinking, well, telethrow, that covers a lot of distance. That requires a lot of open space. Dusty seems pretty enclosed. Like, how is it going to work here?
How is it done? Well, first, we're going to clip out of bounds using the same method with this upside down pot. Then we're going to grab these pots from out of bounds and move to this seemingly random platform that there's just kind of here. It's very convenient that it's here. And we're going to get that sand wave to push the pot out of bounds, and we're going to place it on this platform so that we can telethrow off of it. Now, from here, it's not over. There are kill planes. When they made the stage, they just kind of surrounded it in a box of kill planes, so if we go too high or too low, we will die. But that is a very, very clean Dusty Desert. Let's go!
Nice. Very nice.
I cannot reiterate how hard that stage is. If you mess up any part of the trick, like if the pot isn't upside down, if you miss grabbing the pot, if you miss the telethrow, if you do any of that, you have to restart. Like, there's no backups.
It's just that fast.
That saves 2 minutes over the old skip that saved 3 minutes. So,
Yeah. Now we get to throw a bunch of furniture at Sonic.
very funny.
Now
The
it's,
other,
now it's our turn on the it's no use end. Quite like
And,
Sonic's version of the boss fight, Silver doesn't have good aim.
Here I come. No.
But that
Now-
is very clean.
yeah, you'll notice Lab delayed the final hit there, and that's because we actually need to get a 13 specifically. Because if you go any faster or collect a ring, you'll get the S rank, which loses 5 seconds. That was a very clean Silver, or Sonic. I'm sure it'll be very clean Silver too. So now, we're at the point of the story where we have to go infiltrate Eggman's base, aka White Acropolis, to go chase Sonic, who we just saw. Now, this normally requires us to get an upgrade, but that upgrade is both slower to get immediately and slower across the rest of the run, because it prohibits us from doing certain tricks that we'll see later. So, we're going to instead take a sign, put it up against the wall, and hopefully walk through the wall.
Don't ask.
Don't ask. We don't know.
Either.
Just witness it. You shove the sign through these lasers here, and then question mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks sketchy, but that is a very particular trick.
Wow.
That was a fast shock bracelet skip. And now we're into White Acropolis, which is another volatile stage, but not in the same way as Dusty Desert.
Also, Blaze
stage
gets hypothermia here. That's the headcanon. She does.
She gets hypothermia and goes home for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
this stage, it is very easy to lose time in basically any place. Like, it's not so hard to complete the stage, but there are so many little optimizations, including one at the end of this section. I don't know if we're going to go for it.
The voices are winning.
The voices are winning. All right. So, we're gearing up to skip a bit of combat, so we have to hold X to perform Blaze's Spinning Claw. And if we release release X and press A frame perfectly, we actually preserve the speed from those dash panels into this Spinning Claw move, which allows us to just move straight through the door and skip all this combat. But it is frame perfect, and if you mess it up, there's a very high likelihood of death.
And you don't pick up a checkpoint in Blaine's section.
Not at all, so you lose 50 seconds. So this is the time loss machine that I was talking about. This telethrow right here is very tight. We need to specifically corner cut and then stop and then reset our angle. That was very clean. And then this combat can also lose some time. And then there's this final telethrow over to the goal ring. Which can also lead to issues. Like, again, every single part of this can randomly fail, and it won't necessarily prevent you from beating the stage, but it will lose a lot of time. That was a very clean White Acropolis.
That's a great time.
The AFC attempt was clearly blessed that run.
Yeah, you said the voices are winning because I go for that trick like every time, and even if I'm like I shouldn't go for it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
All right, and Egg Genesis. Surely this will not end up like the Sonic fight at all. Surely the same emulator bug doesn't exist in this version of the fight, right?
Surely,
Yeah,
surely.
Oh no, Lab, what are you doing? You're not attacking the boss.
Oh no, what are you doing?
Oh no.
Boss ownage machine complete.
Discord
There we go.
sound.
Yeah, honestly. Again, don't ask.
And that's the only C rank we will get in the entire run, I think.
You can get one in Mission 14 if some things happen. But
yeah, true.
hopefully we don't.
And now we have
Amy.
Amy.
I swear I am going as fast as I can. Like, I am holding the control stick at all times.
Yep, Amy is very, very slow. If you've ever seen a Sonic Adventure DX run, Amy is drastically different. We walk at the speed of Sludge, and we have this really lame hammer attack move, and also we can double jump. Also, we can turn invisible for some reason. That's a trick Amy has.
It takes a while, though.
Yeah, we don't do any of that. We just run and swing hammer and hope we don't get hit.
Yeah, Dusty Desert actually has an Amy section, but of course we skip through it. The Ultratrat Amy skip also, well, skips Amy, but you can tell how worth it is to skip any section with Amy, and unfortunately, this town mission is one of the few required ones, and it's entirely Amy.
Yeah, it's also funny because Amy is like the only character in the game that has no way to clip through walls. So it is extra slow to play as her.
Yeah, you have to open every single door.
That is one of two Amy sections that we have to play in the All Stories run.
But now, this is where shit gets fun. Because
welcome to the second half of Silver NCW. We are going to be buying an upgrade called the Heart of Wind. The Heart of Wind simply does a light teleport dash forward. It's a shame if we could extend it with a frame perfect input.
Yeah, no, wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would be pretty funny.
Yeah, so as I alluded to earlier in Tropical Jungle, Stun Slap has very, very strange momentum preservation properties. So if you press X on the last frame of the teleport dash, so it is frame perfect, you can You can teleport dash for as long as you want to, and this thing is incredibly fast. As you can see, we can clip through walls without much fuss at all. Like, this is something that pre-Heart of Wind Silver can't really do consistently without an object. But now we are just all-powerful. But again, it is frame perfect, and it can be performed after a telethrow. Because we skipped the shock bracelet earlier, also very funny telethrow here, we're doing it off a shovel.
Fan favorite.
Because we skipped the shock bracelet, there's nothing preventing us from holding X for as long as we want in the air. So this means we can extend the teleport dash indefinitely, which we got right there. That's massive.
That is the super extended teleport dash. If you just hold the input, if you just hold the X input and use it to go a really long distance, that is the super extended teleport dash. And we beat Radical Train in about 25 seconds.
That was a very clean Radical Train. Yeah.
This guy though.
This is the enemy.
The enemy.
Every single speedrun has a split where you're just like, dude, this guy sucks. That is this split. So
Welcome
this is
to Shadow.
This is much like the Sonic fight, where we have to manipulate objects and we have to hit them with we have to hit Shadow with them. But this arena both has less objects and the objects are bigger, which means they're more prone to running into each other and not actually dealing damage, or they lift Shadow super high in the air so we don't know where the hell he is, so we have to start over the friggin' fight. This boss sucks! Because if he goes beyond either of those trains, he just gets stuck. Like, he does not think to jump. And there are very few barrels in the outside areas, so we have to keep him in this main one.
Yeah, this is a much better fight now.
Yeah, that second cycle was actually really clean.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my god.
This might actually kill.
Yeah, so, again, this boss both sucks and is incredible because you can kill him extremely quickly like that, or you can have what happened pre-restart. That was a very good Shadow.
Yeah, no,
Very
anything
nice.
sub 40 is very good.
Like, I think my gold is a 36. Which is crazy. Normally you expect a mid 40. And if things go really wrong, it can go above 1 minute.
Yeah.
So now is Aquatic Base. We have a pretty long, like 4-minute
Funny cutscene.
first section. Oh,
No,
funny
not the
cutscenes.
No,
funny
I forgot the
cutscene.
cutscene. Sorry.
Ah.
We saw it earlier, we're fine.
So here's a long 4-minute section where we can just teleport dash to the very end of the level, to the very end of the section
Balls.
even.
Balls.
Literal
Balls.
Please
Actual,
pick up a ring.
actual
Actual,
spears.
yeah,
There we go.
and that's section 1.
Yeah, so there are no actual telethrows in this stage. There's just a lot of clean ETD movement and shows off just how powerful ETD Silver is. ETD Silver honestly clears all of Fiction. Like, nothing can stand up to this level of power. Because we can just clip through any wall we want. And it's also pretty boxed in, and there aren't really any, like, objects we can telethrow off of. There are a few spike ball telethrows, which is normally only reserved as a backup, and it's actually slower to do so. Especially because there are no platforms out of bounds.
Big ball.
Big ball. We get to play a bit of Super Monkey Ball before we gear up for Hope and Clip. Nice.
Nice.
That clip saves 10 seconds, and if you miss it, you just cry because there's no real way to back it up.
And now here is the Silver's combat without the shock bracelet. The shock bracelet makes this entire thing way easier, but we're going to be waving these two worms about and hoping they collide with the birds. If they do, then the birds will instantly die, and if they don't, then we can just grab them, no problem. We were hoping to instantly kill this big guy with everything we grabbed, but unfortunately Lab barely missed it, but we still get a sub 130. We can't complain with
Nice.
that.
Cannot complain.
So, in this next part of the story, we are supposed to protect Anna. She has the secret.
She does have the secret.
Yeah, she
Um,
knows things. She
so
is
this
a
is-
knower.
She is a knower. This is normally an escort mission. However, the enemy spawns in the mission are relative to Silver's position and not Anna's position. So, we can stand a certain distance away and prevent any enemies from spawning, which allows Anna to just run to the end.
Listen,
However,
they said protection. She
This
can
is
just
a
run
form of
south, it's
protection.
fine.
We're actually gonna scare her, if anything. For the most part, we can just stay back here and Anna will just run to the end, no problem. Though it is slightly faster to have Anna run away from an enemy. So we're going to do a little bit of scaring. At very precise
Cool.
moments, Lab is going to spawn in some enemies to just scare Anna, to force her to run a little bit quicker and get to the end a little bit sooner. I think we did this 2 times.
For reference, each scare saves a second. This is normally a mission where you just get your final time and then leave. You get your 127, but we're gearing up to get a 125 instead.
Big.
There's an
Also-
invisible wall back there, but you can see they loaded the entirety of that up here. For some
Now we
reason.
can see some. Now we can see some funny stuff that's technically out of bounds. There's
Here's
a
Bob McFloaty.
Bob
Bob
McFloaty.
McFloaty.
He's floating.
And we can also
This
see
is-
in this area there's a bunch of duplicates of a bunch of NPCs. This is very odd to look at.
They work.
Like, we are very far out of bounds. Like, you
There's
do
these
not
two
see
guys.
any of this. Yeah, and then there's these two guys.
This is me having a deep, meaningful conversation with my lookalike twin. And
Yeah,
that's it.
125, woohoo.
Great!
Yippee yahoo.
She was scared correctly.
That was easy.
Red Silver, that was easy.
True. But now we're in the end game, and much like Sonic, we have to do a series of 3 town missions in order to enter Kingdom Valley. They're slightly less optional, or they're slightly more optional in Silver's story, but the process by which we skip them is very slow. So we're just going to play them normally. Well, as normally as we can in a Sonic 06 speedrun. But before then, Sega really intended for you to just walk all the way to the trials. Like, all of this movement that we're doing is pretty unintentional. Like, just keep that in mind.
Yep, this is a miserably slow walk through the forest.
And
So
woohoo, we're in.
we enter the first trial, the test of friendship. We have to free Blaze, because for some reason these priests have actually captured Blaze, and now we have to free her. I don't know.
Yeah, so this is normally a combat mission which unlocks this cage, but we can actually put a box up by the cage and then teleslide into the box, which is just pressing A twice within a window of 3 frames to make Silver slide across the ground, and that gives him enough speed to clip into the cage through the box.
That was very clean. And now we have
9 is awesome.
now we have the hardest trial in the entire game. This one's very
Ooh.
intense. This is the test of memory. Lab, you gotta focus up on this one. This one is insane. It's insane. We gotta go right. Then we gotta go through a loading screen. Then we gotta go right again. Then we gotta go through another loading screen. And this time we gotta go to the left. And we hit another loading screen.
Yeah, baby!
Congratulations on
Sub 4.
Before, guys. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so that's normally a word association game that the portal layout is, we know it in advance, so we can just go to the portals.
Yeah, it's a
But
big
now
quiz.
is an actually challenging trial. This is a combat mission without objects. So we need to manipulate enemy AI well in order to get them to throw the things we want to throw when we want to throw them. So it is a very challenging mission to do quickly. Ooh, yeah, we missed a 4th. We're supposed to have 4 missiles there so we can kill all 4 of those robots in one fell swoop, but so that gold robot is a leader, so it'll take out all of the other enemies, and then we pick up a bunch of missiles that will basically be our ammunition for the rest of the mission.
So, Rev did kind of gloss over this. We can actually skip all 3 of these trials. There are 2 walls that we can kind of easily climb up, but then we have to transition to a 3rd wall to get enough height to make it to Kingdom Valley, because the Kingdom Valley mirror is always active. So if we just touch it, we can skip it. Oh. Silver is balling.
Thanks, man.
I got the grounded damage animation on one of the balls.
Yeah, because those
Amazing.
balls both count as a damaging hitbox. Or no, the
it was
balls
the
count as
robot.
a ground, and the robot counts as a damaging hitbox. So you can ride the balls while you're taking damage.
Incredible.
But
If you
yeah,
take damage while grounded,
there's
you have this huge get up animation.
there's a series of hovers we can do, a bunch of invisible walls that will skip these trials, but it is both very hard and slow or loadless, so we don't do it. But now we're entering probably, I mean, dude, there's so many hard
One of
splits
the
in Silver.
Definitely
One of the hardest
hardest
splits.
levels. This
So
is
in
Kingdom
section
Valley.
1, in section 1, there's a very long section that wraps around. So we're going to try to do a telelaunch in order to gain a bunch of height. This is a very, very precise trick. We're going to go and grab the one up. So when Silver can lift an object as if he's from afar while on top of an object. And what this does is it gets the object stuck in this like grabbed state where it is right now. Which is really interesting, and we can even ride on the object while it's doing that, which is an old trick. But if we slap and then throw the object, we force its speed. We force its speed into a vertical direction, which gives us a bunch of height and allows us to clear the entire section in 13 seconds. It was a very clean section 1.
You gain exponential speed from tele-launching. You will just keep going faster and faster upwards. And now we're going to attempt Sonic Skip. This is a trick we've known about for a while, but only kinda recently was made consistent to some degree. We want to get this box on this like sloped surface. Once we fiddle about with it enough, we can get it. We can get a ground on the diagonal part of the box. And
Yeah, we need
tele-through.
We need the box to essentially be facing as straight forward as possible in order to get enough height to clear a very, very tall invisible wall. The invisible wall directly to our right is the one that we're aiming to go over.
Bit of lag, but don't worry about it.
So now, yet again, this section wraps around. So we're going to dismount from the box early and ETD all the way through the wall because there is a second invisible wall there. And then we have to do a bit of combat.
More silver combat, you love to see it. So this is the second last level of the game, and you can tell that it's pretty intense with the tele-launch and Sonic Skip, as well as some big ETDs that we have.
So 133,
absolutely
nice.
have to hit.
Yeah, if you each ETD that you saw in this level loses 15 seconds if you don't get it.
Yeah, at some point you absolutely have to hit them. And I'm sure Lab has plenty of experience as he is the console world record holder for Silver Story.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think he has like 5,000 attempts at this category or something.
Yeah, 5.5k.
So now we're in another very, very hard split. This is Flame Core. We're gearing up for another box telethrow. And this stage is kind of the perfect, like, fiery misery pit that kind of just... It combines basically everything you've learned throughout the run so far into one very, very difficult gauntlet split. So we have a telethrow into an ETD, which we unfortunately missed. And then we're going to have an ETD to skip this combat door. Again, we can't clip through it, but we can go around instead. So we're going to go around, and then we're going to do some more ETD movement in the puff section. Hopefully we do not see a puff. Fortunately, we get a free one up right here. Pray. Pray that we do not get owned. As Silver, there is... That one was close.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
Alright, cool. As Silver, there is actually small opportunity for you to save yourself because you can't hover. You can't hover after getting hit, but it is not something you can rely on. But in Section 2, this section is entirely indoors, so we're not going to telethrow, and instead we're just going to do some clean ETD movement and targeted damage boosting. and opening of doors through slapping of sigils, as you do. Oof, missing that ETD, that sucks. Ooh, that sucks. That you, like, absolutely need a ring going into this specific doorway because there's a damage boost right there that if you don't hit, you lose like 20 seconds. That skips like genuinely half of this room. And there's another small damage boost right here in order to skip a rising platform section. And then from here, we're going to enter this room and we're going to pick up all 6 rings. And that is very, very important. We need either 3, 5, or 6 rings going into this next room because we're going to do another double damage boost similar to Shadow Iblis Phase 2. So this orb, which we call the Big Puff, sends out waves of flames that deal damage. But if we take damage in the air, we don't actually go into a damage animation, and we're able to pick up our rings as we fall. Which means we have this period of invulnerability, we get hit, we have another period of invulnerability, and we can just clip through this door and go to the end.
Nice.
Nice.
Perfect.
Now we got one more boss before our final story. Good old
Conveniently
Iblis
called,
3.
conveniently called last story, so
Yeah.
This
What?
is what we call the lava slot machine.
Yeah.
This is, again, much like Shadow Serb. Like, Shadow Serb and this boss are the only 2 bits of, like, pure RNG in the game. I promise, this is a good speedrun. So, he's going to fire a lot of Cocoa Puffs at us, and we need to pick up a certain amount of them and throw them back at them in order to hit a certain cycle. We need 3 hits from these batches in order to
4.
guarantee a 220. That was 4? Nice. So if you get 3 hits from luck and don't miss any other hits, you get a 220, which is considered an average time. But what happens if you miss that margin? Well, you get a 305, essentially losing you 45 seconds. Uh-oh. That
It's okay, I
thing
got
sudden-
4.
We gotta hope. Let's not get 310'd on stage, please.
No, we didn't.
okay. It looks
Yeah,
good.
this looks good. This looks good. This is like 1 extra or
This is a
perfect.
220.
Alright, this is good.
But
Yeah, you
the
can
funny
just avoid that.
thing about this boss is that if you get more hits than 3, you can actually save 23 seconds by getting a sub 2 time. Which is great until you have to run against a sub 2 Iblis 3, in which it sucks. It's
Yeah.
like the last 3 world records in this category have all had a sub 3 Iblis 3. Like,
Gotcha.
it is very hard to get a world record without the RNG, as we
I've been
call it.
close, but not there.
Close,
And
but not
if
there,
you
yeah.
and special mention, if you're extra lucky with hitting all those hits, you get what is called the stuff. There is very specific lore with that name, but in essence, the stuff means you end at that facepalm at Iblis. That is insanely lucky, and I think only 4 people have gotten it across, and it's like 5 times. Maddie,
Yep.
who's right here, has gotten it twice, and it's insane the luck that you need to hit the stuff.
Yeah, it's
Time ends on this last hit, which is going to be in about 6 or so seconds.
yeah, 4 people have ever gotten the stuff. Maddie, who currently has the world record, Flubler, DSS, and Ontonishi, who coined the name of the trick. Well, of the cycle,
There
I
you
guess.
go. That's Silver Story.
Guys from Cringe. Alright, last story time. Woo!
Woo!
We are done with the main 3 categories, and we are moving on. We are moving on to last story.
Alright, we gotta start last story by skipping a bunch of cutscenes. Now, this is essentially a gauntlet, where we play as every single character except for Sonic and Blaze, because Blaze died in that last cutscene that you didn't watch, so... we will be starting off with the tail section here. We're going to be using a bunch of height caps to cut some corners. We're going to cut a big corner here. Let's see. This looks good. Very nice.
It is very tight.
We're playing in Crisis City right now. We also have these orbs that we need to touch because there are big eyes that open up and try and attack us. They attack us by either sucking us in or the red eyes, which throw objects at you. This is the Omega section. We're going to be spamming a bunch of hovers. Omega section actually has a lot into it. There's quite a bit that in the inside section. Unfortunately, we're never going to see it. We're just going to hover around we're just going to hover around this invisible wall here and spam the A button a bunch. And go right to the end to this Chaos Emerald. So we need to collect the Chaos Emerald because Sonic also died, so we need to revive him with the Chaos Emeralds and a kiss. So that's Omega section. Now we go into Knuckles section in Tropical Jungle. We're going to go in this direction, and this is literally the end of the level, just right there. So I'm going to do a bit of a glide reset here. Charge forward, and do another charge on these boxes. Bit inconsistent, and we did miss it, unfortunately. But that's Knuckles' section. And now for the only hard section, the Silver section. You've seen a bunch of ETDs already, but we're going to see a little bit more if I don't suck at the game, of course.
Yeah, this section is notorious. Whoa. This section is notoriously hard because there are also like 5 different ways to do it fast, and all of them suck. There's a strat with the box here that I don't think we'll be seeing. I looked a little scuffed.
Yeah, unfortunate. We'll just go this way then.
You can hit that spring and have a red Eye of Solaris shoot a box underneath you so that you land on the box and then you're able to go up to the higher section. But unfortunately, we have to take the climb of shame.
Yeah, I'm used to this route anyways, and we can show off some more teleslides, which we didn't get too much of a chance to show. But if we just... It's a lot easier against a slope to teleslide, but you can see that this just gives us a lot of speed. So I'm going to teleslide up here, take the climb of shame, and we're going to go up here. And this is the end of Silver section. We need to get up here and hopefully hit an ETD. We didn't get it. But that is Silver section. And now is Rouge's section. We have one last shot to go for a moon jump, so I hope I hit it. It would be pretty funny.
Yeah, it's not faster, but it is funny.
I didn't quite get it. I tried to aim for the lower section just so I got a bit more time, but I think I messed up the setup for the moon jump there. That's fine. I'll take this a bit safe. We climb up here.
Whoa. It is very easy to just die anywhere.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking this a lot safer than I normally would, but that's Rouge's section in Wave Ocean. And now for the only exciting part, the Amy section. This is the second time we have to play as Amy in this game, and here's her double jump. You can see how terrible it is.
It was really high. Not much else.
Yep. And we need to touch these orbs to clear out the eyes, and we just keep going.
Yeah, so the gimmick of this stage is that, like, Mephiles has, like, taken over the world or some shit, so we have to, like... He's spawning all of these, like, black holes and things that throw things at you, but if you touch the, like, Eagle of Soliana orb that isn't really explained, you get to stop those from spawning in for a little while and clear all of the ones that are actively out.
So we trot on through. Some eyes are going to spawn here, so I'm going to hug the walls as much as possible just so I can avoid them. The further away we are, then the less they will pull us in. And then we make our way to the Emerald, and now we're onto the Shadow section of End of the World.
Which is also pretty hard. There's some tight homing attacks onto ropes that we need to do.
I got hit there, a bit unfortunate. I hit the wrong thing there.
Don't get hit. Don't get hit. Ah! That section's a bit tight. Those birds fire projectiles at you that can, 1, lag your game, and 2, snipe you out of midair and just instantly kill you. It's great.
Yeah, it's fun. So I'm going to go for a setup here. Clear that box. I'm not used to doing this on this controller, but if we do it right, we get a lot more speed to climb this thing, and we can go way up here. Also get hit by the worm, because funny.
Yeah, you unfortunately have to do a very specific M speed setup in order to clear that section without getting hit, but...
Yeah. I want to hit the
but we
orb
just-
so we can spawn this.
Take the wind rail, and then clear...
That is end of the world. The world has been ended, so now we just gotta continue on to the Solaris section. Or the Solaris fight, even. The Solaris fight is split into 2 sections. We need to just clear both of them out. So we are now the super versions of the main hedgehogs. We're gonna start off with Silver. This is the most inconsistent section, I feel. So we'll see how well this goes. We need to grab these rocks that he throws at us and hope they don't collide like that. And we just need to...
Again, Silver combat sucks, even in the final boss.
Yep. Even as a completely different hedgehog, he sucks. This is really terrible. Wow. Wow.
Wow, okay, yeah, no, you are getting owned.
It's
Come
okay.
on, man.
We'll whittle him down. Eventually his arm will break eventually, don't worry.
This is...
I'm taking a bit of risky play, but I think... Wow.
Come
okay.
on, man!
Solaris
What
is
the
being
hell?
extra mean today.
This is... cosmically bad RNG here.
This is... oh my,
Oh my god! Bro!
I do still have ring energy, thank you for asking. Alright, we cleared that section. Alright, we're out of
Oh
there.
my god.
That was
Wow.
the worst RNG I've ever seen in my life. But now we gotta clear the shadow section, which is just charging up and firing these sphere of lights, I think they're called. I don't know. We want to avoid getting hit, because as you saw, there's a long get-up animation, and we have to wait to recharge again. But this one is very straightforward.
And you also lose rings, which normally doesn't come into play, but if you're not careful, you can get owned sometimes.
Yep, so now we gotta swap to Sonic. Sonic has a little bit more RNG, because normally we would charge up and charge at Solaris, but we want to get hit here. We didn't quite get hit there, but if we get hit, we can actually damage boost through the barrier that stops us from, you know, getting through without charging out. Wow, that is comedically bad. This is the worst Solaris fight I've had in a very long time. Oh, there we go. There's good RNG. There we go. And now we're going to clear off this, the first phase of the boss, the same way we'll clear off the second, by spamming northeast and spamming dashes and hoping our hits hit twice.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes they just do that sometimes.
Yeah, one's on the arm, one's on the core. Those are considered separate weak points.
There we go, that's Solaris phase 1. Time will come up very soon. We just need to clear out this phase now. We want to aim directly down as Sonic so we can hit him like that, take this damage boost, hit him another time, and now we go right back to Shadow. Shadow section, yeah, more of the same. We spam northeast and spam these spheres. There is RNG here. Every time he turns, I think, he can either shoot out a laser or he can just turn again. If he turns again, then our attack will get blocked, so we want to make sure he does that as minimally as possible.
Time is coming up when the health bar fully depletes.
Yeah, time is going to come out really awkwardly. Unless we get bad RNG, of course. Okay, and time.
Nice. GG.
That was a good phase 2. Terrible phase 1, but a good phase 2. And that is
GG.
the run, folks.
That was the entirety of Sonic 06.
There we go. If you want to run this game, I highly implore you learn this game. It's very fun. Speedrun.com/Sonic06. You can join our Discord server. Everyone will help you. There's a category for everyone. If you like what you see, then you can obviously follow our runners. I don't think a lot of them stream consistently, but I know Lab streams a lot, so you should follow
I do.
Labrys. You can also follow Reverie. You get some really nice late night streams of random Sonic 06 and Project 06 runs as well.
Yeah.
And Maddie streams sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And I think that's about it. I want to give additional shout outs. Shout outs to Saesr Events, SAESR_events. We host we host a bunch of events throughout the entire Sonic Adventure era. Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Adventure 2, Heroes, Shadows, and Sonic 06. We had a Shadow Story tournament not too long ago, and of course Maddie was crowned our winner. So if you like the Adventure era, I highly implore you to check it out. And of course, I'll leave it to everyone else. Any other shout outs you guys have?
Shoutouts to the runners that have developed this game over the years. Shoutouts to DSS, shoutouts to Focus, shoutouts to Nick, shoutouts to Gordon, shoutouts to pretty much anyone who was strat finding or like either way back when or not too long ago. This game is very different from what it was even like 2 or 3 years ago. And it has seen a level of play that it really hasn't before. And I want people to join. We have a Discord server on our SRC page, speedrun.com/sonic06. It's again like join it. Anyone will ask us anything. We'll get you set up. We'll get you knowledgeable and whatnot. Yeah, is there anyone else? Rev, Maddie?
No. Pretty much said what I would have said.
Chaos control.
One last kick for the home. There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us along.
Thanks, everyone. That was such a fun relay for such a chaotic and fun speedrun. That was really enjoyable to watch. So thank you all for sharing your talents with us. And yeah, we've got even more runs coming up. Our next run is going to be a silver medals run of We Play, but we are going to take a quick break before we go there. So don't go away. We shall return shortly. And thank you for watching with us here at Pixel Perfect Marathon 2.